Views expressed by Casters Guild members are only the opinions of that member, and that could change from day to day. Guild members may use mature language, but that in no way means they are mature. Listener discretion is advised.
Grab your ninja headband and head for your favorite ramen shop. Whether you're a ninjutsu master or fully rely on your taijutsu, we'll get you through that shonen exam. And that's the spell we're casting tonight on Casters Guild. Thanks for tuning in to tonight's episode of Casters Guild. As you can probably tell from that intro, we're talking Naruto. I am the Gerudo Hage of Casters Guild, Rick Perry.
And I am Baron, ninja of the Hidden Valley Ranch, Kane.
And with us tonight for the first time is a very special guest. Feel free to introduce yourself.
I am Swagkage, leader of the village hidden in the swag. Got all sorts of really powerful ninja, myself included. Pleasure to be here.
Oh, thanks very much for being on. So, like I said, we're talking Naruto tonight, and the way we usually like to start this cast is what's your favorite. So, I'm going to start with who is your favorite ninja?
There's a couple pretty cool ones, because there's a lot of characters. I really like Minato, the Yellow Flash, the fourth Hokage. He's pretty cool. He doesn't do like a ton, but whenever he is on screen, he's always doing something nifty. This is a pretty polarizing character. I also really like Sasuke. I've always found Sasuke super compelling. I think he's neat, and for one of for a shonen rival character, I think he's fairly nuanced. And then as for villains, I really like Madara. I think everybody likes Madara. Yeah. Madara's very cool.
Yeah. He's pretty cool. Oh, Guild Train.
Guild Train coming through.
I guess I got cheated there. I gave 3 answers, but it's hard for me to pick.
You do the same shit every time.
It's almost always, you fell right into our format without even asking. It almost always ends up as top 3.
Yeah.
Baron?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, my all-time favorite, the whole thing, is Jiraiya, the pervy sage himself.
Yeah, he's a good one.
I just love the whole arc. Love the whole arc. And I would have to say that I'm thinking of my favorite villains, and I keep getting stuck on Pain.
Pain's really good. Yeah, he's a great number 1.
Yeah, that arc was just great. And I think the reason why I like that arc so much is because it made me like Hinata even more.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. She's just kind of stuck there for a little bit, and you're just wanting her to get an opportunity to do something. And the thing she does is actually really big. It doesn't feel contrived or anything. It definitely feels like something that she would do, and you're like, oh wow, yeah, you go, girl.
Yeah, it wasn't one of those forced girl power moments. It was pure organic, her coming out, realizing her own potential, and just kicking ass.
Yeah. It wasn't like tokenism or look. So there's Kishimoto definitely has an issue given his female character stuff to do, but there's some good examples of them being really cool. Sakura versus Sasori is obviously a really good one, and Hinata fighting Pain is fantastic. Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, she loses, of course, but it's good. It's a catalyst for Naruto actually coming back and winning the fight. So
right, yes,
that whole arc is full of good stuff. Though Pain is really scary. He spoiler alert kills Jiraiya, and you're like, oh wow, oh my god, it didn't. And the fight with Jiraiya is really good. And the fight with Naruto is really good. Both S-class, peak shonen battles right there. Back to back in the same arc. So yeah, I can agree. Pain is definitely up there for villains in my opinion as well. I mean, it's hard to say anything bad about him, right? He just he checks every box as a villain. Got a good motivation, incredible character design. All of his lines are really good. Super cool powers. What more can you ask for?
Definitely. I've always thought that the best villains are the ones that make the heroes better.
Yeah.
Pain definitely checked that box.
Yeah,
That's
I
a
agree.
that's a real shonen trope, is the villains who make the heroes better,
Yeah,
I mean,
which is a
and
good thing. Yeah.
that goes across the board for me, though. That's like
Yeah.
in comic books. That's movies. It's like the villain. The villain isn't there to win. The villain is never there to win. The villain is there to make the hero look good.
yeah,
in
exactly.
In a storytelling standpoint.
I thought the moment where they're like arguing and Pain is explaining all of the horrible stuff he's going to do, and like Naruto's like, "No, that's evil, that's wrong, it's not going to work," and then Pain's like, "Okay, so what's your answer for peace?" And then Naruto just kind of stumped. He's like, "Well, I don't got one yet," and then Pain's like, "Yeah, that sounds to me like you don't have a valid critique of what I'm doing here," and Naruto just kind of has to sit on that. It's really cool. The thing I'll give Pain, this applies to Obito as well. He's a much better foil to Naruto than Madara is. Madara and Naruto don't really have any chemistry.
No.
They're not really related at all. Madara just gets a pass based on how cool he is, because he's really cool. But Pain does a lot of like in terms of like narrative strength, Pain is definitely better, I think.
I think I kind of hit my top three. It was Jiraiya, Pain, and Hinata.
All right.
For no really any other reason than I just thought she was awesome. So, I mean, I guess in terms of like if I was going to pick a rival kind of thing, I mean, definitely Broccoli.
Broccoli's good too. He's awesome.
I mean, he's just an all around good guy, but he's like setting himself up to be everyone's rival anyways. So.
Yeah. Like when he first shows up, like the first thing he does is he just kicks the shit out of Sasuke, right? He kicks him right in the face. It's so good.
Oh, and nothing is ever going to beat the fucking weight drops.
Yeah.
Oh, the weight drops.
I know you said you stopped reading once Haku and Zabuza happened.
Right.
But,
So yeah. So
did you at least see the Rock Lee fight?
For our listeners, I'll say my only experience with Naruto is back when I was in, early high school. I used to go to my 7-Eleven weekly and pick up the Shonen Jump right off the shelves. And I was there from like the beginning of the Naruto run in Shonen Jump until Zabuza and Haku. But I have seen a few episodes and like a couple things where my friends are like, "You really need to check this out." And I'm assuming you're talking about the Rock Lee Garu fight, right?
Yeah. When Lee fights Gaara and then he drops the weights and opens the gates.
Yes.
And that fight is crazy.
Oh,
yes, I did see that. And I will say the couple times that I have started watching Naruto, the anime, it's been because of moments like that where somebody sends me a video and is like, "You need to check this out. It's really good."
Yeah.
And it's because of stuff like that. It's just Naruto doesn't stick with me. I think
I get it.
It's mostly the dialogue. Like a lot of the dialogue, I'm just like, I don't know if I can get through this. But the fights, I will get it, are awesome.
Yeah, I can sort of get that. Sometimes it is very, I don't want to say Kingdom Hearts-esque, because Kingdom Hearts is really bad about dialogue. Yeah. Kingdom Hearts is really, really bad, but it's the same sort of thing where it's like, yeah, people don't really talk like this. But I think generally, at least early Naruto is pretty good about this. It depends on what you're watching, I guess, dub or sub, and I think that this issue is mitigated a little bit more in the manga. I can sort of see that. I do think that it is a valid criticism, and there is a lot of talking, as there tends to be in shonen, when you have to explain how all the powers work.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think that's why I stuck with the manga so long, like through Shonen Jump, because it was, I think, a little bit better about that. I will say my top three from my early Naruto run, just from that run. It's funny that you bring up that fight, but because you bring up that fight, Rock Lee and Gaara are two of my favorite, with my number one favorite being Kakashi.
I was guessing that, yeah. Like with the limited scope that you had, Kakashi's definitely the coolest guy there. Kakashi's so sick, you know.
He
and
definitely
like
has my favorite summons.
Mm-hmm. The dogs, yeah. I love the pug.
I was really confused about it, but whatever, I went with it.
Yeah, like he summoned, you know, like Naruto's got this huge frog, Sasuke's got this gigantic snake, Sakura's got this big old slug, Kakashi's just got a little pug.
Right. Whatever, man. He likes dogs. All right. I can
Yeah.
dig it.
I agree. I think it's really cool, and the dog's also pretty funny.
It's not the size of the summon; it's how you use it.
Yes, exactly. I mean, they do put in work. Like they get Zabuza really good. You know, they
Oh, yeah.
put him down. So
And I found out you said you like Gara. One of my I watch Critical Role. One of the guys on Critical Role actually does the American voice for Gara.
yeah. I forget what his name.
Brian.
Yeah. He's really cool. He's I've heard him crop up in a few other things, but I always thought his Gara was really good.
Oh yeah, he does all kinds of voices. He's prolific. He's
Yeah.
everywhere. So they chose a good guy to do that voice.
Yeah, I agree. I was one of the first people who noticed actually that it was Yuri Lowenthal playing Spider-Man when the trailers for the game dropped. I was like, wait,
Oh, yeah.
hold on. I told all my friends, they were like, no, wait. Like as soon as I said something, they were like, no, oh yeah, you're right. Like I pointed out, I was like, he sounds a lot like Sasuke. And yeah, I was right. So it's a little bizarre, like just hearing them pop up in other things. Of course they do, like they're voice actors. It's not like they're gonna like just do Naruto. But you know, I guess it's specifically when there's like such a huge contrast between the characters, like Peter Parker and Sasuke Uchiha.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that and it's like when the voice is that recognizable. Yeah, obviously they're going to do voices and other stuff, but it's like, did you have to use the Sasuke voice?
Yeah, well, like he's definitely going for a different thing, but I just think that his voice is so like it still crops up in his performance as Peter Parker, which is very good, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Everybody says this about all the different Peter Parkers across all the different media. Everybody says, "Oh, this is one of the best ones." But I do think that he's definitely on like the upper end of Peters. You know, I think he grew a lot over the course of Naruto. The early dub is pretty rough, but by the end, he was doing a pretty good job as Sasuke.
Well, I think you can say that about most of the voices in the early dub.
Yeah, I mean, this applies to a lot of stuff that made it to the States, like early 2000s, late 90s. You know, the original Dragon Ball Z dub is rough. High. No, I think that the voices are just even the voice actors think that the voices in Kai are better.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that was pure sarcasm. That was pure
Okay. Yeah, because you'd be surprised that argument happens like.
Really?
People are like, no man, you can't beat the classic dub, the Bruce Faulkner music, and I don't know, man, they changed the voice for Frieza. I don't like it. Like, I don't know what to tell you, dude.
Right.
It's just not as good.
And it's funny when arguments pop up like that, because it's like, you know, I don't remember saying I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I'm just acknowledging that it could use a little work.
Yeah, and it definitely got better. That's all yeah.
Yeah, if people arguing that original better, that's just a pure nostalgia argument. That's what it sounded like when I was a kid, so it's better.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh well, what you gonna do?
That was a couple tangents. My bad. That was all my fault. I'm the one who brought up Spider-Man.
That is the point of our podcast.
Yeah.
Dude. Apologize.
All right. Cool.
Reading our format. I thought you just knew.
Yeah. Sick. So I think as for early Naruto, which we were talking about earlier, I think that there are a lot of strengths in the early series that it definitely loses towards the end. Though I do feel that the later portion of the series does a handful of things better. But like most people agree, for example, that the tuning exams is really good, which is shocking considering it's like a really it owes a lot conceptually to another shonen exam. Not gonna name names, but they are very similar. You know, you got Hisoka and Orochimaru being like the exact same character archetype, but the Chunin exam still manages to do something that's like wholly unique and doesn't feel like the Hunter exam at all. All the fights are really cool. Like that first, like the preliminary round, and like the top 8 are both really, really cool. I want to know who is in charge of seeding though for the prelims. Like, how are you gonna book Rock Lee versus Gaara outside of top 8? You know,
Right. Man, I think just someone wanted to see. You know, it was probably Rock Lee's guy. It was probably Guy.
Yeah. Guy was like, "Hey, why don't you?" Because like how else could seeding error like that happen? Like you got Rock Lee versus Gaara and Sakura versus Ino in the same level of the bracket. Like I don't know about that. Something's a little weird.
They're drawing at random. Like there is no
Yeah.
If someone was in charge, I'm telling you, it was Guy, and he was like, "Okay, who's the strongest one here? All right, put Rock up against him. He's got him." What?
Yeah, like I mean, Lee would have won against anybody else in the room. Gaara just happened to be like, oh, okay, this is the strongest guy from like the whole Sand Village. He's never even been touched before, so Lee had his work cut out for him. I mean, like, even though that's definitely the best fight from the preliminary rounds, I think there are a handful of other good ones. Shino versus Zaku, the dude with like holes in his hands, was pretty cool. When like Shino made him blow himself up.
I forgot
Nobody talks about this one, but so it's the first one where Sasuke fights the dude that can absorb chakra, and like he's like, I can't use ninjutsu at all. Because if I do, the curse mark that Orochimaru just gave me is going to go out of control, and I'll collapse and get disqualified or whatever. So he ends up winning the fight by using the same kick that Lee had used on him, and then like that he copied with a Sharingan earlier, and then developing it into like his own unique like taijutsu thing, which is really cool. And he did like the guy's like instantly lights out, right? I think that's neat. It was pretty cool to see Sasuke in a position like that where he just wasn't able to do anything initially and had to be fairly creative.
Well, it just really kind of shows, I think, a little bit what the Sharingan is capable of, especially with somebody who can be creative with it. Because he took that, copied it, and he could have just, copied it and did it exactly the same way, but like he was creative with it and turned it into his own thing. So.
Well, the coolest thing about that too is like Lee didn't actually do the whole jutsu. The finished one would have been where it's like where he wraps the bandages around Gaara and then spins really fast and slams him into the ground. Right. But Guy didn't let him use that against Sasuke because he was like, "Hey, that's a forbidden technique or whatever. It'll damage you." So Sasuke didn't actually get to see that, so he had to make something up on the spot, which was pretty neat. And he managed to do it, and it looked really cool. I think the only really like bad fights from the first 10, like the prelim rounds, are Sakura versus Ino, just because like who cares, and Naruto versus Kiba, because like the fight's cool at first, but I think Naruto just gets hit too many times and doesn't really face any consequences for making a lot of stupid decisions. It's not horrible, but I don't think it's as good as any of the other stuff.
Oh no, I will say hands down. Well, I mean the Rock Lee fight was definitely my favorite, but
I agree.
The Sasuke fight was right up there though.
Yeah,
but those two were really the only ones to show up for.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, the Sasuke has like a really good fight in the finals. His fight against Gaara, where he uses the Chidori for the first time, that moment's so cool.
Oh yeah.
Guy is sitting there peeing his pants because he's like, "Wait, what?" Kakaki's like, "Yeah." So he copied Lee's like whole movement style. Like he just took his speed and copied it with the Sharingan. And Guy was like, "Why?" That's all he had. And Kakashi's like, "It wasn't to spite you, I promise. He actually had to." And Guy was like, "Oh yeah, why?" And then Sasuke gets up on the wall and starts charging the Chidori, the badass jutsu that Kakashi used to try and kill Zabuza. And it's like, yo, wait, what? He's doing it. And then he starts running down and the music starts playing and it's so cool. It's awesome. There's another fight, though. I can't forget it in the finals. It's also great. Shikamaru versus Tamari. The fight's so cool. So dope. Shikamaru is like 20 steps ahead of her the whole time, and he wins, and he just gives up because he's out of chakra. I wish Shikamaru had gotten to do more. He doesn't get totally wasted like some of the characters, but I think that fight is probably where he peaked. And I mean, it's a good peak. Don't get me wrong. Like the fight's really good, but I think like it promised a lot more for him than what we got.
Yeah, definitely. I like him. I would say that I like him, his character.
Yeah,
But
I agree. He's
like,
great. He's awesome. He's so cool.
Oh yeah, so cool. And I feel like though that they wasted a lot of
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like, again, they didn't like Kishimoto didn't handle him like horribly, but you know, I think like it was cool when he like beat the Akatsuki guy. Like he's like immortal. So Shikamaru was like, all right, I'll just blow you up and you'll be in pieces under a bunch of rubble and you won't be able to get out. That was pretty neat. You know, he let him away with shadow possession jutsu and all that. It was cool. You know, he has like a member of the Akatsuki as like, you know, somebody that he's defeated, which is again is awesome, but he doesn't do anything else after that. Of the side characters, I do think he gets probably treated the best, but still, like I do wish he would have gotten to do more.
Oh yeah, I totally there for a little while. I even was thinking that they would end up letting him be the next Kage.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, we were all expecting Naruto, and you know, we got it. But I mean, there for a second, that small little conspiracy theory in my head was, yeah, he's gonna get it.
He's definitely smart enough. The issue is he's not like strong enough because you got other people up there like, you know, Minato, Hashirama, all these like super duper powerful guys who like Shikamaru is just not on the level of. I think that's the only thing stopping him. But he did become Naruto's assistant, so you know he came close, and he's a really good one. Naruto probably needs him. And probably asks for his help all the time.
Oh yeah,
right hand man is not a bad position to be in.
Yeah,
it's probably one he put himself in. Let's be real.
All right, guys. To kind of switch gears a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. You are just now entering ninja school, right?
Okay.
Time period does not matter. If you could choose your teacher, regardless of who it is, who are you choosing?
There are a lot of good options here. It really depends because I feel like the best approach to this is results oriented thinking, but I also feel like that's also very flawed because then the obvious answer would be Kakashi, but it wasn't really because of him that Naruto and Sasuke got that strong. That there were a lot of other factors that influenced that. So if we I guess I don't know. I guess you'd have to do a blend of like results oriented thinking and like who would just be the coolest guy and who do you think would be the best teacher, just like gut feeling. And I feel like I already really like Minato, so Minato would probably be really good. But it's not like he knows like that many jutsu to like teach you. He knows like Shadow Clone, the Sengan, and Flying Raijin, the teleport jutsu, which are really good. So actually, yeah, probably him. If I can learn those, I'm set.
See, I would say, and I could easily say Jiraiya because he's my favorite. But I've seen his teaching style. No. Yeah, and you know, I think I would want Naruto's original teacher, like from the Naruto.
Oh,
original.
Iruka?
Yes.
Yeah, he'd be cool. He'd just be a really chill dude to hang out with, you know.
And you know what? That's all I'd want. Yeah, I may walk out of there only knowing how to walk on water, but you know what? I'm fine.
Naruto himself, maybe not. He probably wouldn't be that good, but Sasuke would probably actually be a really good one.
Oh yeah.
Sasuke would teach you how to do everything, and he'd make you feel terrible until you were the best of the best. He'd be like, "Nope, this sucks. Not good enough. Don't know what you're doing here." So, he'd probably be pretty effective. So Minato,
not to mention with Sasuke, if you became like a star pupil of his, you became his favorite. Then maybe before he dies, he could gift you his Sharingan.
Yeah, or better yet, his Rinnegan, which is
Yeah.
to make you really crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that'd definitely be neat, though. Yeah. I'd like to have a Sharingan if I didn't already. I would like to. Well, I was about to say it would be cool to be born into the Uchiha clan, but then you remember what happens to them, so probably,
Yeah.
probably not.
Kind of sucked for a hot second.
Yeah, it would be cool to be born into the Uchiha clan, assuming that didn't happen. But
Right.
you know, it
Or that
probably-
you were one of the people who somehow survived it.
Yeah, but the only one is Sasuke. Right? Well, I guess
Yeah.
Obito, but that's completely different circumstances.
Right.
So it's really just Sasuke. So yeah, probably don't want to be an Uchiha. What clan would you guys want to be from? That's also a good question. I guess. Yeah, well, so the issue with Hyuga is they're kind of like dickheads, right? Like they're really dogmatic and they're like super rigid about like how you have to live and like you know, like none of them know like any jutsu that aren't like gentle fist Byakugan stuff, right? I think that's like all they're allowed to do. Like Neji and Hinata never do like fire or lightning or anything. And according to some of like the data books, like the supplementary stuff, like Neji has like lightning and wind and water like element like he knows jutsu of those elements, he just never uses them, and I guess the only explanation is because he's not allowed to. They won't let him, and that would kind of suck. But at the same time, it'd be pretty cool to be able to see everything all the time. Nobody could ever sneak up on you, so maybe it'd be worth it.
Yeah, it was definitely purely for those eyes.
Yeah, I want to be a Hyuga where my parents died in a tragic accident and I got adopted by a different family, so I don't have to worry about any of that, and I get the cool eyes. See, there you go.
No, it'd be cool to have your parents die of like a tragic accident, and then you're just adopted by like a normal family.
Yeah, exactly. See,
and then like you're like the superstar of that family.
Yeah, like look what he can do. Look, you know, he can see what's in this box. Wait,
Oh, great! Now I'm thinking I'd be in like the Hyuga clan. My parents would die. I get adopted, but they end up being like these thieves. They use me for like heists. Oh, it's just
yeah. See, so there's no winning there.
I meant terrible. It would be terrible.
The Kimimaro people, the Bone people, the Kaguya clan would be neat for their like power, except like they were all apparently like horrible people who just liked fighting and killing people, and they got themselves killed because they tried to fight the whole Mist Village by themselves. And Kimimaro was the only survivor. But man, that power to just like pull out your spine and like regenerate it and then use your spine as a weapon would be nuts. Like if I saw somebody do that, I'm out of there, right? Like that's pretty scary.
Yeah, you're just like, no, I'm good. Like you win, I'm okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll say I don't know a whole lot about too much of the clans. As a matter of fact, what I know about the clans might be wrong, except that the Uchihas have the eye, and that the Uzumakis are like have survivability. Like
they're like
the hard
really
fuckers to
durable.
kill.
They're really durable, and they know like crazy sealing jutsu. The
jutsu
I think that Minato, Naruto's dad, used to seal the nine-tailed fox inside of Naruto was actually taught to him by the Uzumaki clan because he wasn't part of it. Naruto's mom was, and so either he was friends with some good sealing ninja from it, or she just taught him like a bunch of sealing jutsu that she knew. And there are some like really good ones. Like one of them summons the Grim Reaper, and he just puts whatever you want in whatever you want. You die afterwards, but I mean, like it's a like it can seal people, creatures, whatever inside of other people, objects. So like if they got that kind of stuff in the Uzumaki clan, and also like you can just no sell punches all day. That'd be pretty cool too. That's probably the correct answer.
So based off of what I know, I think I would choose Uzumaki.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, I would have chose that for you anyways. Like if I was choosing for you, totally, yeah, I would put you in Uzumaki.
They have really bright red hair though, so you got to maintain it a certain way. You basically have to have long hair; it'll look really stupid.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Well, I have long hair 100% of the time anyway, and I dye parts of it red already. So I mean,
okay, yeah, there you go. That works.
What village do you think you'd want to be?
So all the strong people are in the Leaf, so I think I'd probably feel the safest there. They have Hashirama, Madara. The third Hokage was like, look, my bad, I just dropped something. When he was alive, everybody was like, yeah, he's the strongest Kage now. Minato was even stronger than him. Hashirama was even stronger than he was. And Madara was about the same level. Then, of course, they have Naruto, Sasuke, Kakashi. All these big boys were really, really, really tough. So, like, if any of the other villages ever tries to invade it, it's like, well, you can probably rest easy at night. And if you're in any other village, complete opposite. You got to worry about all those people being on the other team.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, like Minato they just straight up had a flee on sight order for him in the third war before he even became Hokage. He was like, people were told, because he could just like teleport everywhere, right? So like they were just like, yeah, if you run into him, you just don't try to engage him. Nothing, you will die. And like one of the people he corners straight up tells him that. That's how it's communicated to the audience. He's just like, hey, man, please let me go. We have a flee on sight order. If we see you in our village, I didn't know it was you. And then Minato's like, okay, yeah, sure, fine.
Yeah, okay.
So I think Leaf, like, it's the cliche answer, but I think that my rationale is pretty good for why.
Yeah, cliche answer does not mean that it's not right.
Yeah.
I will agree for a different reason.
Mm-hmm.
Because the aesthetic of that village it's tight. I love the aesthetic of that village. It's kind of like got that urban kind of. It's almost like a post-apocalyptic city had been retaken by these ninjas and just re-outfitted, rewired. It just looks great.
Yeah, it does look awesome, and like the Mount Rushmore Hokage faces are pretty cool.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, but I love the whole. It's like urban isolation. It's like they have this urban life, but they're just out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the other villages do have something sort of similar. The Sand Village is just like in like a crater in the desert. But the thing is, that's not nearly as appealing as like you said, this like urban, like feudal metropolis, which the Leaf Village is. In the Sand, it would be really hot and like uncomfortable, and everybody would be upset all the time, and like there wouldn't be anything to look at except sand and desert, and more like the scenery around the Leaf Village is pretty nice. You got all these like forests and stuff, and then you got the Sand Village. It's just desert and more desert. The Cloud Village has a pretty cool aesthetic too. It's got all these like big, tall, like circular platforms and stuff all over the place, and like some of the village or some of the buildings are like suspended like in the air and like hung vertically, which is like really, really cool. But I do think that the Leaf Village is probably what I'd go with, all things considered.
My limited knowledge means I'm choosing 100% off of how cool I think their headbands look, which means I'm going with the village hidden in the sound.
Yeah. The problem with that is it is a fake village that Orochimaru made up so he could steal people and experiment on them and make them into his soldiers. So you would have a tough life.
Yeah, that does sound about right.
But I have locked in. You're being transported to the world of Naruto right now.
How typical of you, Rick.
But
Uzumaki.
At the end of it, I'll have one cool ass headband. So
yeah, there is actually somebody like that. Her name is Karin. She's part of Sasuke's team, and she has a weird power where like if you bite her, you get healed.
Oh no!
Yeah, it's very. it's as weird as it sounds because she always like gasps when it happens, and you're like, does he know? Did he do it on purpose?
Can I change my vote to favorite because I completely forgot about her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
can
could be in the
always do
Sound
that.
Village too. Oh wait, you mean character? Okay.
Yeah, character.
Yeah, I think Karin's pretty cool. My fiance hates her. She thinks she's really annoying, and I get it, but I think she's dope. I think she's really funny too.
I mean, besides her hitting a few of my buttons, she's actually still just a cool character.
Yeah, she's a really good like support like in Sasuke. Like for a really long time, she was better at it than Sakura was. Just because she like when Sasuke needed to locate someone, she was like a sensor type, so she could pinpoint where they were. And then of course she had the healing power. As weird as it was very useful. So she was just great there. But whereas through all of part one, Sakura wasn't doing anything. So Sasuke probably felt a lot better. I think the whole Taka team is really cool, actually. Suigetsu and Jugo are both dope.
Yeah. I actually just love the teams that they do in this whole thing.
Yeah, they all have really good chemistry.
Oh, yeah.
Rick, I don't know how many of the teams and like their dynamics you're familiar with, but
not too many.
There's the classic one, obviously. I think all the characters in Team 7 work really well with one another. Kakashi's a good leader. Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura all have fantastic chemistry. Same applies to Lee, Neji, and Tenten are just as good with Guy as their wacky leader. Yeah, all the teams are really good.
So who's your favorite team? As long as we're on the topic. Fair answer.
The Sanin, actually, the third Hokage's team, because Hiruzen was a cool leader, and Jiraiya, Tsunade, and Orochimaru are all some like S tier characters. I think that especially the way that they're introduced leaves a lot of there's a lot of intrigue there, because like you meet Orochimaru and then you meet Jiraiya and then you meet Tsunade, like all at separate points, and you slowly get bits and pieces of backstory about all of them and find out that they all used to be part of this really badass team that everybody liked and respected. And, you find out about all the cool stuff they did together in the past, and, they live up to all the hype. So I think that's probably the coolest team in Naruto.
I would say Team 10.
Yeah, that's a good answer too.
Yeah, Choji, Ino, Asuma.
Yeah.
And I think I like them the best because they seem to be the most affectionate of each other.
Yeah, they really like each other. Like, you can tell. Like even when Ino bullies Choji, like, early on, you can tell it's, like, it's not malicious. Like, she just gets annoyed with him, but she is clearly friends with him. Like, they all root for each other and stuff, and they have an incredible team dynamic. Like, that yo-yo shit that they do at the end where Choji turns into a boulder and Shikamaru makes the shadow possession the string. That's so cool.
Mm-hmm. Let me tell you, speaking of Choji, his whole transformation thing that he does,
he just gets big. That's his whole power, and it's
no. When he grows the butterfly wings.
Oh yeah, that's also really cool. I agree.
That blew me away.
Yeah.
It was almost like he had those expansion jutsus and everything like that, but it was still almost like he was eating all of that food just to prepare for this moment.
Yeah.
And just it was so I think it was so great because it was so unexpected.
Yeah, that arc was just full of really good fights. Yeah, like I didn't expect the fat guy throwdown to be so sick, but yeah, Choji versus Jiroba was awesome, and it was just the first one. If you do watch one arc in isolation, Rick, that one, it's the Sasuke retrieval arc. Sasuke leaves the village, and they all got to go track him down. And there's no Jonin or like elite ninja in the village, so they just have to send a bunch of the kids. And it is super high tension and like treacherous and dangerous, and all of them get really sick one-on-one fights. It's so cool.
That does sound pretty good.
Yeah, and you get the classic expected Naruto versus Sasuke at the end of the arc, and it's one of the best fights in the whole series. A contender for my favorite fight in shonen. Like it's really, really good.
Right. I'll have to say that you should make it through an arc just so you can sit through all that filler animation. to hit that end arc animation.
Yeah, exactly. That fight is so fluid and beautifully animated. Like you can tell they put a bunch of the budget into it. But
oh my god, yes.
like it clearly pays off. I think that fight is like up there with the first round Goku versus Vegeta and Krollo versus Hisoka for me in my favorite shonen fights. Like it's really, really, really good. I don't have anything bad to say about it.
No, me neither. I mean, I'll bitch about a lot of the stuff that Naruto does. Not Naruto the character, but Naruto.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
A bitch, but then like you get to those last few episodes and you get to that final fight and it's like, oh my god, this is a work of art.
Yeah, both of the Naruto versus Sasuke battles are incredible. I have a hard time picking a favorite. I do think I like the first one a little bit more, but the second one is like perfect too. Like they're both 10 out of 10s, and if I prefer one, it's just barely.
Yeah, that's fair. That's real fair.
Like, so what would you say is your favorite technique?
Probably shadow clones. Well, no, sorry, it's Kirin. But that like
you can also
have to, like,
answer. You can break it up if you want to be like, this is my favorite ninjutsu and this is my favorite taijutsu. If you want to break it up, that's fine too.
So I have to. So I'm gonna say Kirin, but like the reason I didn't say that right away is because I like compartmentalize that as like I made a tier list video of like all the jutsu in Naruto. That was a bit of a labor, by the way. I had to go through the whole manga chapter by chapter and screenshot every major jutsu that got used so that I could put the images in the tier list because it didn't already exist yet. Like I made the template. So that took a while, but it was a lot of fun to do. And I remember when I was making it and I got to Kirin, I just put it in its own tier and didn't say anything about it because like it's just one of those jutsu that I like take for granted, like is really good. And a lot of people agree with me when I say it. It's like this gigantic giraffe dragon thing made out of lightning that like Sasuke, like in his battle against Itachi, which is built up for like super long, like the whole series up until it happens, like he just pulls it out like right at the very end, and like even Itachi like shits his pants when he sees it. It's so dope, but I try not to count it because I like being fair to all the other stuff in the series, and I think that it's like on a completely different level. For all non-Kirin Jutsu, Shadow Clones is probably my favorite. It's definitely the one that would be the most practical to have in real life. Favorite Genjutsu is Tsukuyomi. Insane. The way it works is Itachi looks at you, and then you're caught in it, and he has you in there for 72 hours and can completely control everything you see, feel, smell, like all of it, right? Like he has total domination over all your senses, including your perception of the flow of time. So he can make the 72 hours feel as long as he wants to. It's like it's all an illusion, but like the mental strain that he can place on people by just like tormenting them for that long is enough to kill a lot of people. And it's visually one of the coolest things that the series ever does. Taijutsu is the kick that Guy did on Madara during their fight. Night Guy, he opens the 8th gate and just runs at him at full speed. And it's sort of like when Vegeta does the final flash against Cell. He's just like, all right, just stand there and take it. Don't be a bitch. Stand there and take it. See if you're really that strong. And Madara's like, all right, fine, bring it on. And Guy does it and almost kills him. So it's pretty neat to look at. It's just a kick, but it's a really cool one.
I would say, I'm just gonna say, in terms of taijutsu, I just love it as a concept.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's just in this world, and I blame Rock Lee for this, because it's like in this world of like magical ninjas, you have this fucker just running around all by his onesie, just kicking people in the face. And it's like, and he's kicking them so hard, it might as well be magic. So I love the concept of taijutsu, period. That they took the time to label this as like a ninja technique. Just the fighting. I love it. And then I'm gonna go with the whole Choji butterfly mode. I loved that. It took me so off guard. That's a ninjutsu, right? Yeah.
Yeah. It is. The butterfly mode is a ninjutsu. He like kind of he punches people with it, so I think it's like half taijutsu, but it's the mode itself is a ninjutsu.
Right. So yeah, and I just love that concept, and it's also one of those. I love the underrated characters, especially when they give them their moment to shine, and that was definitely his moment.
Yeah.
As far as Genjutsu, I think I'm just gonna agree with Swag on that one. It's hard to beat that.
It's so insane, right? And,
I mean, honestly, if you control every one of the person's senses, be it illusion or not, what is really the difference? I mean, like, if you can completely control someone's perception and how they perceive things with every one of their senses, how's someone supposed to tell the difference between reality and illusion at that point?
Yeah,
There's literally it's the same thing.
Yeah, you can't. And the craziest part about it is I probably should have clarified the 72 hours doesn't actually pass as 3 days in real life. It passes as 1 second. Like, so like Itachi looks at Kakashi and then bam, like you see him just get trapped in there, and like 2 or 3 minutes pass like in the episode of him just getting like stabbed, like on like just bound to like a cross, basically, just over and over. And then like Itachi like makes more of him and like more Itachis to stab the extra Kakashis, and he can feel all of them. And it's like 2 minutes of this, and he's just like 71 days, 23 hours, 59 minutes, and 59 seconds to go. And that's like, sorry, not 71 days, my bad. 71 hours, 59 minutes, 59 seconds to go. And then Kakashi's just like, what? And then like it fast forwards through it all, and you get to the end, and then like the other 2 people who are there with him are like, Kakashi, hey, what happened? Like as if and it's very clear immediately that just like it's just been like a split second, like since the Genjutsu started. You're like, what? How can he do that? And like the trauma it inflicts on Kakashi is like so severe that they they have to they dedicate the rest of the arc to going and finding the best medical ninja in the whole world just to get him out of his coma. Like they're like, yeah, wow, this is really bad. Like I don't think anybody's going to be able to save him from this. So it's like it's super, super crazy. Like, and it wouldn't be nearly as cool if it didn't look so nice, right? Because like all the colors are inverted too, like when it's active. So like it's like black and white with like a red sky, and yeah, like it's one of those things you kind of have to like see for yourself to get like why it's so cool.
Yeah, because the idea of it, we could describe it all day, but as soon as you see it, you'll see what. I mean, the fact that they can take something like that and translate it so like visually the way they do, it's amazing.
Well, and this is like how the character is like introduced to. Like this is the guy that Sasuke's been talking about beating all series, and you're like, wait, he has to fight this guy? Yeah, like that's just one of the things he does in that fight. He does so many other things, and that's a standout one that a lot of people point to. So
that was like one of the moments in that show. I was like, they're going to have to do a lot to be able to beat this guy. Yeah. It's like they can't right now. They just can't.
Another really cool jutsu is another Sharingan jutsu. It's Kamui. Both versions, the Kakashi version and the Obito version. I think I like the Obito version a little bit more. I think it's very representative of the character Obito is, because he's like a nihilist, and I like the idea of making himself like intangible and like sucking things up into his own like void where they basically just disappear is like it's like the idea that he tampers with the void is just like so thematically appropriate for like a character who like just believes in nothing and like doesn't think like anything is good. Like it matches him so well, and it's also just super duper cool to see it used in fights. Like before he fights Kakashi, so the thing is it's really complicated the way it works, but basically the Sharingan gets really crazy later on. Like it gets really stupid, And one of the concepts that's introduced is the Mangekyo Sharingan, which is like Super Saiyan Sharingan, where you basically get your eye gets a unique ability. And the Genjutsu we were just talking about is one of those. And Obito's lets him like create a portal to his pocket dimension with like his eye as like the event horizon. And so he can like suck pretty much anything that's in point blank range or like within maybe like 30 meters or so, like into the dimension. And that includes parts of his own body. So he can just like effectively phase through attacks, which makes it impossible to hit him. And for the whole series, up till like chapter like 614 or something out of 700, nobody hits him, like, period. The only way they do it is because Kakashi has his other eye and can access the same dimension and basically warps those pieces of him that he's sucking up in there out of the dimension, and then like starts warping Naruto into it so that like Naruto can like that's the only person who's able to hit him except for Minato, the fourth Hokage, and the only reason he's able to do it is because the it's really complicated, but the only way he's able to attack people is by he has to stop, right? Because if he's intangible, he can't interact with anybody. So he has to stop, being invincible for a second if he wants to actually hit people. So he tries to grab Minato to suck him into the dimension, but Minato knows he's going to do this and like hard reads it. So he throws a kunai at Obito, but it's not like basically like, one of the kunai knives, one of the shurikens. So he makes it look like he's just trying to hit Obito with a weapon. But the kunai is actually like, it bears the seal that Minato uses to teleport. Like pretty much anything that he marks with the seal, he can teleport to.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so he uses the kunai to like throw it and basically give himself like a moving target that makes him super mobile. It's super dope. And so he throws the kunai at Obito, and Obito's like, you fool, I can phase through it. And he goes to grab Minato, and he thinks he won. And then as soon as he becomes tangible, Minato teleports to the kunai, which is now right behind Obito. And like the angle it puts him at, because Obito's like leaning forward to grab him, and they're both moving at like full speed, it puts him like right above him. So he smacks him with a Rasengan and like wins the fight. And that's the only hit Obito takes in the whole series. Like it's super overpowered, but like not in a way where you're like, come on, dude, this is stupid. This is dumb. Like, I don't like this. I just want them to beat him already. But how are they gonna without like something that's super? Like it's just cool, like consistently the whole way through. And like I said, I think it fits him thematically. It's really character appropriate, and it's also cool to look at, and it's also cool to think about. And like the series doesn't get bogged down explaining most of this. Like it's all communicated like intuitively and visually, so you just like get it. Like they don't do the shonen thing where they're like, so this is how this, like except for when they explain how like Kakashi sucks Naruto, and like they do explain that, but like most of the other stuff doesn't get explained. You just like get it by looking at it, which is also pretty impressive considering how long it took me to lay all of that out. But yeah, I might like that a little bit more than Shadow Clones, because being able to like phase through stuff and like teleport places would be nice too. But I'd also like to just be able to knock out like all my work in 1/2000th of the time. That'd also be pretty cool. Just having 2,000 extra copies of yourself.
Yeah, especially when you do production work and editing and stuff like that. Just be able to like. You go record and then you make a shadow clone. You like go edit.
Yeah, exactly. And then I just get to do whatever I want,
Yeah.
Practically speaking, I would totally do shadow clones all day, especially once you figure out that once you reabsorb those shadow clones, you gain their experiences.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, oh yeah, shadow clones all day. I can think of at least 2 really great situations where they would come in handy.
And see, the cool thing is, right, you can also make people think that last rule doesn't apply. So they'll tell a bunch of stuff to your shadow clone thinking that you'll never find out about it. And then you'll be like, so what's all this that you were talking about? That'd be fun.
Oh yeah.
All All right, I'm going to start with the really dumb questions now, just because
Sure.
I want to hear the answers, and like it's probably questions you've never been asked about Naruto before. So feel free to take as much or as little time as you'd like answering these questions. Who is the character with the best and or the worst fashion sense?
There's some people. I mean, like, so Rock Lee might be the answer to both questions.
That's legit. Damn.
Like, it feels correct to say that. There's some like unique outfits on there. I think that like Sasuke's later outfit, like the jacket, so Orochimaru's original outfit does look kind of stupid, but then I think Sasuke ends up pulling it off really well with like the jacket and like the purple. Naruto's black and orange is like classic shonen. Same with his blue and orange. It looks pretty good, but it makes him look goofy. I don't think I'd give him the award for best look. Shikamaru's outfit is pretty good. I really like the fishnet top thing.
Yeah.
And like the jacket. But yeah, Rock Lee is probably the right answer to both questions.
Baron?
Well, I will say I really, really liked Naruto in his orange and blue, but only when he had the goggles.
The goggles do bring that outfit together. You're right. I've never thought about that, but they do add a lot to it.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I will say best. I'm still sticking with Naruto when he goes like full sage.
Yeah, you're right. The sage look also looks really, really cool.
Oh yeah, that long coat. Oh man, he's boss. And I will say probably worst will be Rock, which don't tell my daughter because I was just helping her shop on Amazon and I saw on her wish list a green turtleneck. Oh, I don't know.
It's a little bit different, jumpsuit and turtleneck, kind of.
All right. Which character are you offering a free ass whooping to? Let's say, for example, you could whoop anybody's ass, like somebody who just deserved it, who's catching equal lefts and rights.
Donzo.
From
what a dickhead! I hate Donzo.
And wait, is he the mouth and hand guy?
No, that's Datara. Donzo's the guy with all the Sharingan on his arm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that guy. Out of all the villains like Naruto has, and it's weird because he's like he's like major in like the larger sense of the world, but narratively he's kind of minor. Like in terms of like how long he sticks around, I should say he's minor anyway. Out of all the Naruto villains, he's like the one, like even probably, I don't know if this is probably not more than Orochimaru, but almost. He's the one that like I look at and think like, yeah, this guy's just like pure evil. Like all the other ones except for Orochimaru do have like some, like you could view it as noble, like what their goal is through a certain lens, maybe, or at the very least, it's not like totally selfish. Even Kakazu is just like he's like a bounty hunter. So like he's not like a good guy or whatever, but people do want those jobs done, I guess. So he's doing somebody a favor. But Donzo's just like, man, like whose life are you making better, dude? Nobody's. No one should like you. So yeah,
That's
definitely.
Yeah. It's funny too because I was just thinking about him. We were talking about some other storyline. All I could think of was that guy, and I was like, man, I hate him so much.
I know, dude. Like he sucks. He's good at being hateable, though. I think that was the whole point. So he's not a bad character, but hate him. I'm never going to not defend him.
Yeah, kind of the point of the question. So yeah, like that's perfect. That's a perfect answer.
Yeah.
All right. Do you think you would be affected by Naruto's sexy jutsu / reverse harem jutsu?
It depends on the point in my life, I guess. Right now, I am engaged, so no. But when I was a teenager, when I was a teenager, man, it was rough,
We've all been there. We've all been there.
So like it depending on like what mood Naruto catches me in, yeah, he could probably catch me off guard and beat me up with it. Like I'd be like, oh man, how did this work on me? But now no. Before now, like a good few years ago, maybe. Like I said, it depends on when in the day. I'm leaning probably though.
Baron?
Yes. Let's just, all things considered, we're the same age. Yes, every time. I could know it was him doing the sexy jutsu.
Yeah, me too, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
All right.
What? Five of you now? That just works even better.
All right. If Guy Sensei and Lee asked you to work out with them, what would you say and or do?
No, absolutely not. So like there's one of two, like I go home that day exhausted and sleep for 2 days, or I feel like shit because I can't, because like these guys are so inspired, unless I'm like in the same position as them where I just can't do any like ninja arts. I'm just gonna be like, man, these guys, they got the definition of the short end of the stick. What am I doing? Why am I not working this hard? And I would just go home and be sad. Either way, it would be a bad day for me. I can't do it because you just like even if you tried, you can't keep up with them. They're like, yeah, we're gonna do 4,000 push-ups in like 5 minutes, and if we can't, then we're gonna do 5,000 kicks in 10 minutes, and if we can't, then we gotta jump rope like 1,000 times without failing. And it's like, oh my god, dude. Is this every day? And they would be like, yes. And you'd be like, no, I can't.
No,
Baron?
You know better.
I do, but I had to hear you say it.
Yeah, no way. I like he was saying, I could be in the best shape of my life. There's no way I could keep up. It's like these men are clearly overcompensating. And I'm not even an exaggeration. They are Rock is completely overcompensating for his lack of anything else but taijutsu.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's no way. No way. No. I would try. You know what? I would try. If I didn't know anything about him, I would try. Be like, you know what? All right, guys. You're trying to be my friend.
Yeah, they're very friendly, and like they are goofy, but they seem nice. I'm not gonna not be friendly.
I feel like even if you couldn't keep up with them, they would be just 100% encouraging about it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they wouldn't be dicks about it. I think that's the good thing. They wouldn't be dicks about it. They're like, oh, try again tomorrow. I'm like, all right.
Guy is very hard on Lee, but I think that's just because he knows that's how hard he needs to push the kid. I don't think that they would be like that to anyone else. Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm. But I'm also convinced that is actually the whole reason why Sasuke is so aloof. I'm pretty sure that they badgered him when he was younger to come train with him. He did once, and then after that, he just ignored them and just figured, I'll just ignore everybody else because I don't want to take a chance.
Yeah, I don't want to get into this situation again. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Sasuke was a hard worker as a kid. Like he tried so hard to do that fireball jutsu to impress his dad, and he probably thought, "Man, I probably train harder than anybody else in the whole village." Then he met Rock Lee once, and was like, "Oh, I probably train harder than everybody else in the whole village except him."
That guy. All right, if you can talk to any character right now, who would it be, and what would you say?
That's a good question. I would probably ask Orochimaru if he could just like bridge the gap and like give me chakra. He could probably do it, right? Like,
oh yeah, I think so.
Like,
he'd probably have to install some weird gland on you, but
yeah, he'd be like, yeah, I got some cells from this guy. The surgery is going to be horrible, and I'm not going to do anesthesia, not because I can't, but because I don't want to. Right. Then it would be like the worst week of my life, but then I'd come out and I'd be able to do every jutsu that I want.
but you'd also have the ability to dislocate your jaw. You don't know why. It doesn't do anything for you.
Yeah, like it just be like some random ability that like and you don't know if it was intentional or not, and it'd be a little bit concerning, but you could also do shadow clone, so it'd all be fine.
You're just standing there and you're like looking at yourself, then your jaw pops out. You just look over to Orochimaru. Why?
Baron?
I would Jiraiya, and honestly, I would just want to hang out. Go to a public bathhouse and hang out.
Yeah, Dry would make up an excuse and I'd be like, no. I get it. I know,
right,
I know what you're doing. I've watched Naruto, and he'd be like, "What?" And you'd be like, nothing. I mean,
right.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, Jiraiya, man, I hooked up with this really hot chick. She got like long blonde hair and whiskers.
Yeah, you'd have to sell him, right. And then you'd have to convince him by the time that he realizes that you were lying to him, that you're cool anyway, and then be like, okay, fine, we'll still hang
out. What character are you reviving?
Yep. Well, I think you fucking know.
Minato. Naruto sad. That's so sad.
I feel so selfish now.
Like, well, so I would. There would be good like aspects to me doing. Like, it would be a net positive for everybody. But the real reason is just because I really like Minato. But I mean, like, that would have like a huge ripple effect because. Like, the whole reason that like Sasuke's clan got wiped out was because they were already on kind of like rocky terms with the village because like Minato got elected Hokage and like Sasuke's dad was like the strongest dude in the clan at the time, and they really thought he was going to get it, and so they were like, and then the village knew about this, and so then when the Nine Tails attacked, they knew they were like, who do we know that can like control that thing? The Uchiha clan. Who do we know that's mad at us right now? Uchiha clan. But like Minato knew it wasn't any of them, so he would have been able to tell them, and then like they wouldn't have had this whole coup thing happen where they were gonna overthrow the village because they kept getting discriminated against and whatever, and Itachi wouldn't have had to wipe out the whole clan. So Naruto would have been happier, Sasuke would have been happier, and by proxy, a bunch of other people would have been happier. Like Itachi wouldn't have had to have his whole life ruined. It would just be a good thing for and Hiruzen, third Hokage, old man, would be able to retire and just not have to do all that paperwork and be in charge of a whole village of magic wizard ninja people like for like 20 more years. He'd be able to relax. It'd be good for everybody. Minato would be sad because his wife would be dead, but I think he would be perfectly happy still being able to keep still having Naruto's company
and Baron.
Come on. I mean, I feel real bad now that I just got super guilt tripped there accidentally.
Like I said, mine's for selfish reasons. I just like Minato. It would just happen to be really good for people.
You're right. I mean, yeah, I get that. Mine, it's just Naruto might be happy. I know there would be quite a few people that'd be like, I mean, I'm happy you're back, but am I though?
Tsunade would be really happy. She was real upset that he died. She felt so bad about letting him go.
She would still punch him in the face.
Yeah. That one of the saddest parts about that wasn't just like the death itself and how it affected Naruto, but specifically like when Naruto went off on Tsunade and yelled at her for letting Jiraiya go when he found out about everything. Like, and everybody told him to calm down and like chill out. Like, hey, dude, no, seriously, it's not her fault. And then Naruto's like, no, like Pervy Sage never would have let her go, and she fucking knows that. And I'm very angry at her. And then he just slammed the door and left. And Tsunade just had to sit there and feel like shit. And he knew exactly what he was doing. He knew that was what was happening. And she still had to sit there and be like, yeah, I guess he's right, and that sucks because I like Tsunade, you know. But I was like, yeah, Naruto's got a point, but like I don't blame her. You know, Jiraiya was, you know, he convinced her he had it all. But I mean, like it wasn't like as sad as him actually dying. But I thought that it was a pretty
it was
like character interaction. Yeah, it was really good.
Oh yeah, Tsunade. My daughter knows her as boobs.
All right. Do you think you could win in a ramen eating contest against Naruto?
No. And I say this at like I can like turn on like bottomless stomach mode if I want to. Like I ate a whole cake in like a high school at like our Christmas party once just because everybody told me if you can eat the whole cake, you can eat the whole cake. Like you're allowed to. I was like, all right, I got it. And they like basically everybody was willing to give up their one slice of cake if they could watch me eat the whole thing. Otherwise, I was gonna have to go buy another one for everybody. And like, all right, I got it. And I barely did it, but I did eat the whole cake. And that almost killed me. I was like, oh my god, this was a horrible idea. Naruto, like in some of those shots, he has like 10 bowls.
Yeah, that's my big concern.
Yeah.
Go out and eat with the man? Yes. Totally.
All right, so if you had to win in a ramen eating contest against Naruto, how would you pull it off? Like how would you sabotage Naruto? How would you ninja your way out of this contest?
I would put a sealing jutsu in one of the bowls that subtly refills it in a way that makes it look like so there's more like that he wouldn't be able to notice it because it wouldn't be like it keeps refilling over and over. It just refills in a way that like basically each time he eats one bowl is like 2 bowls. And I still think I might lose.
Now is the contest how many we can eat or how fast we can eat like one bowl?
I'm gonna assume it's how many. I'm gonna say it's how many.
Damn it, I don't know.
But then again, you could say the way you win in the ramen eating contest is you try to change the parameters of the test. You go, hey, instead of seeing how many we can eat, let's change it to how fast we can eat this, and try to convince him and change the parameters of the test.
I would rather, I think, like if I were to die, like if I lost this contest, I think I would rather fight Naruto than try and eat him. Like I'm like under any conditions, I think it is very, very difficult.
All right.
Yeah, I would have a better chance beating him in a physical fight.
Like no ninja powers, as I am now.
Right. Yeah. And he's like Goku level food. You can't.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. What's one thing you learned from watching Naruto?
I learned a lot. Like I said, I resonate a lot with Sasuke now, but when I was a kid, man, like Naruto was so important to me. Like it was basically like for me it was, you know, okay, if Naruto can get through this, then I can get through whatever it was that I needed to. You know, he had it so rough and he didn't care. And you know, as a kid, you don't really get the impression. I feel like every kid has a bit of main character syndrome, and you don't really get the impression that other people are like facing like unique issues of their own or whatever. So for like with Naruto, it focused so heavily on how many things he had to overcome. Like, because, you know, there's plenty of like shows and cartoons and whatever the kids watch where like, you know, there's characters like this that have their work cut out for them. But I think the way that it's framed with Naruto was really, really, really good for me and where I was when I was that age. It's hard to say. It's hard to put the exact lesson into words because I don't think it's as simple as like never give up or whatever. And you can also get that from any shonen. But I do that I think you guys get what I'm saying well enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't have to I guess label it.
And I think everything that you're explaining right now is something that we get, and most people listening to this podcast was get. I mean, we're all geeks, we're all nerds, we've all faced a lot of adversities growing up where people look at you and go, they judge you immediately because you're a nerd or a geek or whatever, and
Yeah.
And not to mention anything else that you've got going on. That's just on top of whatever else you got going on in your life. That's just one more thing you have stacked against you. And, you just got to keep going. And that's a good lesson to learn from Naruto, I think.
I think that the Nine Tails, the whole demon fox thing, intentional or not, is a really good allegory for whatever character quirks people may have. For me, it was ADHD, and I didn't know about it until I was in first or second grade, and this seemed insurmountable to me when I was a kid. Again, and this was also a thing, I didn't really have I don't think I had the capacity, the brain capacity necessary to get that, this is something that could this is something, or something like this could be affecting all sorts of different people, that I go to school with or whatever. It felt like a me exclusive issue. And just to find out that I had what felt like at the time this unique disadvantage that made life a lot harder for me. Like in a school environment, ADHD is like a death sentence, dude. It is so hard to pay attention in class.
Oh yeah.
Like stuff like a clock with hands is enough of a stimulus to distract you, and you just start thinking about stupid shit, how did they make this clock? What's the stuff that is not going to benefit you at all, but just you can't help it, and it takes away from your ability to focus. And I did fine in school well enough, academically. It was just socially, I had a lot of issues reading people, and then eventually it sort of flipped. People started to like me, but around that point in time, I just, for whatever reason, just couldn't care less about schoolwork. And just seeing Naruto take the whole Nine Tails thing and eventually turn it into a positive thing, owning it, befriending the Nine Tails. I feel like that's something that anybody with a similar condition or mental illness or whatever could probably relate to, because now I don't think of the ADHD as a character flaw. I feel like it's kind of definitive of who I am. The fact that I'm so scatterbrained and juggle so many things in my head at once, I couldn't imagine myself without it. So again, this is one of those things where I feel like I'm struggling to figure out exactly how to label it, conceptually, but I do think that is probably one of the most important things that anything could have shown me when I was a kid. And Naruto was really important to me when I was younger for that reason. And that's just one of the themes too, but I do think that was probably personally the most important one for me.
I have to say that's really profound, and I think anybody who's listening who isn't quote unquote neurotypical is going to be able to completely relate to what you're saying. I mean, I grew up with ADHD and ADD and OCD and clinical depression and all this other stuff too. And I was part of the ADD generation when they were just figuring out about ADD, and they were diagnosing almost everybody with it. So I went through a slightly different struggle where I didn't feel like I was the only one. A bunch of my classmates were also being diagnosed with ADD and ADHD, but we were all on different medications. It was all affecting us all differently. And a lot of the adults were looking at us and going, that's not real.
Yeah,
you know
I
what I mean? You have
exactly what you mean. Even I had to deal with a little bit of that, and it was infuriating.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm 42 years old. I mean, when I was a kid, it's all of the things that we have now to help kids with the ADHD, the autism, and stuff. Back then it was, man up, or just you're hyper. That was the big one. It's I'm so glad that we've made some leaps and bounds in that. Still got a long way to go.
Yes. Definitely, yeah. But well, like another thing about Naruto that I found it easy to relate to is I didn't live with my biological parents either. I was adopted by my grandparents. So like, and like that was one of the things about him too, was that he didn't know who his biological family was, but he was able to find a father figure in Iruka, and then eventually Jiraiya. And I think that also having that, like, Naruto was like a really big like emotional anchor for me when I was a kid, and I think he helped me cope with a lot of things that I would have been clueless about if I didn't have, not just the series but him like as a character.
Absolutely. And like I said, I think that's really profound. Do you even be able to look at that and be able to acknowledge that? Because there's a lot of people who have the same thing with a character, but they would never be able to put their finger on why they identify with that character. And just the simple fact that you can look at that character and go, yes, I see myself in this character for these reasons is awesome.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, shonen does this a lot. Like it's not like a uniquely Naruto thing. It's not even a uniquely shonen thing, but I do think that having a story where the main character is like down on his luck, or like a loser, or like is flawed in so many different ways, is so much more interesting than having like a power fantasy esque, like I like.
The same reason I don't find Superman interesting.
Yeah, like, I mean, so Superman can be cool, but you just have to focus on this different aspects of him than how powerful he is. You like the
Right, exactly.
about Superman. It's not that, oh, he's this strong. It's anything else that you could choose to focus on. It's why, like, for example, Breaking Bad was so popular, because like even though Walt did all these horrible things, like, man, he like his life sucked, right? Like if Walt had been like, like a hyper, like if Walt had his whole life, laid out in front of him, everything was good, he didn't have anything to worry about, then I think the reception of Breaking Bad would have been totally different. And I think the same applies to something like Naruto. It's really good to, give people who are worried that, they're not doing enough, or that something's wrong with them, like, to just let them know, like, no, 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 no. Other people got the same stuff going on. You're good, dude. Don't worry about it.
I think that's really, that kind of trope is being seen a lot now too.
Yeah.
You have the Star Wars sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
Where you have, Rey come out. I do like Rey. I'm not shitting on her character or anything, but she comes out pretty much a born Jedi, ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah, like I don't hate Rey or whatever. Like I don't think that she's the worst thing that's ever happened. But yeah, she's just like I don't know. There's nothing to anchor yourself in there, right?
Right.
Whereas with Naruto, you got like, how can you not want this kid to succeed, right? Like he's the most lovable little guy ever, and all of this stuff has happened to him that's just so unfair. And like even in a series where you got somebody like Rock Lee, who's like even less privileged than Naruto is, right? Like this guy's like he's got nothing, at least Naruto can do ninjutsu and stuff. Like you still feel sympathy for him, and it's not I also don't think it feels like a pity party either, because Naruto's not the only, like, one of the biggest things in the series is like Gaara has the same issues that Naruto has, being the whole Jinchuriki thing, except it's even worse for him, and it's turned him into a monster. And I think one of the most powerful moments in the series, it doesn't hit me as hard as it did when I was a kid, but like when Naruto like when he fought Gaara and he didn't end the fight by like trying to kill him or whatever, like he made sure that Gaara understood, he knew where he was coming from, and he was like, no dude, seriously, it can get better, just open yourself up to other people, not all of them are going to treat you this way. That's so good, it's so
that much.
Yeah. And I mean, it completely changes who Gaara is, right? Like the character from the Chunin exams and the character after the Chunin exams are not the same person at all.
Oh,
and it's thanks to Naruto, and it doesn't feel forced either. It's so good.
Right. Yeah, that was so good. I loved it. And I think I loved how, like, we were going along with Naruto's transformation, but what a lot of people weren't seeing was Naruto's transformation of everybody else.
Yes, exactly. There's sort of a meme in the Naruto community. People call it talk no jutsu. Whenever he talks the villain down and changes their mind, and it is kind of funny on a surface level, but I think it's pretty effective every time he does it. I don't think it ever feels like inorganic or like it couldn't happen. Like he really is like hitting the emotional core of all of these villains and getting them to change their minds because like that's what he does. He like gets them and like where they're coming from, and I think that that's a super cool character trait of his. And I don't really like think any other shonen protagonists like have it, and I'm surprised because it feels like a distinctly shonen thing. Like the bad guys turn good or whatever. Like it happens in Dragon Ball Z all the time. But I don't think it's because Goku convinces them to stop being an asshole. I think it's just because they kind of realize they should stop being an asshole. Like Piccolo just does it by himself. Vegeta kind of does it by himself. But like Naruto actually is like the catalyst for these like character changes that these people go through.
So, Baron, sorry to make you follow that, but what's the one thing you learned from Naruto?
Well, I learned a lot just from that. I learned that from the show, and that made me realize it. But I would say that the big thing would be like as a storyteller, I learned that relatable villains are doable, and they're intriguing, and they're better for a story. And the whole evil for evil's sake thing, that's just kind of how I thought it was done. But really, this show, and I don't think I'd seen it anywhere else. And if I had, it didn't make that big of an impact on me. But Naruto, the storytelling in Naruto really showed me that the relatable villain is a wonderful, wonderful thing.
Yeah, actually, that's just as important to me too because I like to write as well. And whenever I approach creating a villain, I can't do because the Emperor from Star Wars is great, right? Everybody likes him. But I can't do that. Like I have to have, why are they doing this? And it cannot be as simple as they are selfish or they want X or Y. If that is the answer to the question, there has to be an answer to, well, why are they like this? And I think that those kind of, like, even when it's somebody like Orochimaru, there's still an interesting reason for why he ended up like that, like that there's a really nuanced relationship that he had between himself and Hiruzen, where he was clearly a troubled kid and he had Hiruzen just liked him too much because he saw so much potential in this kid and he didn't scold him enough and didn't get a hold of him and hold him accountable for all the horrible things he did. And eventually, he just had no sense of discipline or consequence. And, you never know, maybe Orochimaru would have turned out like this. Anyway, it's not clear. But what is made clear is that Hiruzen should have done more to prevent him from turning him into the person he is. And that sort of I had never seen anything like that before I watched Naruto. And it's definitely in other fiction, but I think seeing something like this at such an early age where all the villains are nuanced and complex was really important as somebody who like you does like to write stories and really finds villains fascinating.
When you have to stop and ask, wait, is this the bad guy?
Yeah, exactly. Even Sasuke, when he's going off and doing all this just horrible, unforgivable stuff, you get it because it's man, if I found out that my whole brother killed my whole family and I had lived my whole life thinking that's because that is an evil man and it is my moral duty to kill him, make sure he can't hurt anybody else like he hurt me, and then after that, whatever, I'll figure out what happened. And that's my whole life purpose. And I found out that actually he had to do it, and it was some fucking old piece of shit who put all my family members' eyeballs in his arm after my brother killed them all because he made that. Dude. I don't know how I would cope with that. You can, and I think the moment where Obito tells all this to Sasuke is beautiful too, because you can see he's rejecting it not because he's actively choosing to, but because he cannot like he just can't deal with the idea that he has been that what he's dedicated his whole life to has been bullshit. And you can see everything falling apart, in the look on his face. And it's super realistic too. I know, Rick, you mentioned earlier that sometimes, the dialogue in Naruto can be a little iffy. And I agree, but there's some scenes where it's like you're viewing real life. Sasuke is breathing heavily. He's interrupting Obito erratically. No, that doesn't make any sense. You've got to be lying. You're manipulating me. This and that. And you can see him snapping and slowly realizing that yeah, this probably is true. And it's so cool. And a lot of people don't like him after that happens, and they're just oh, it doesn't make any sense. One of the most infuriating points to me is you find out that Itachi did wipe out the whole clan because he actually liked the village, right? And he wanted to protect the village from an insurrection that would lead to it getting destroyed or ripped in half or whatever. And Sasuke, after finding this out, is resolute to destroy the village because he hates what it made his brother do. And people are like, that doesn't make any sense. If he loves Itachi so much, why would he want to go against what Itachi wanted? But the whole thing is, well, Sasuke loves Itachi, but he doesn't care that that's what he wanted. He is so angry that he's just look, I get I get that this is what Itachi wanted, but I disagree. I hate that play. He can't. And I don't know. I think I don't think that people get that Sasuke Kishimoto recognizes Sasuke is wrong, but Sasuke can't how is he supposed to process all that? You know what I mean? It's so I don't know, man. I think it's really cool. And I think that Sasuke is probably my favorite shonen rival because Kishimoto does so much with him, and you really get inside his head and see why he's doing the things he does. And I love him. He's so compelling. I'm sorry I'm rambling so much.
No, you're fine. This is great. I will say though, with Sasuke, there were times throughout the course of it that I was wondering if maybe Sasuke was actually the main character of the show.
Yeah, exactly.
If they put him on screen more, he probably would have been.
Yeah. I could have totally watched a series about Sasuke too. He's just as compelling as Naruto, sometimes even more so,
Yeah.
The whole Swagkage Summit arc is so cool. And that fight with Danzo is awesome. It is one of the most satisfying things I've ever seen in fiction, period.
Yeah, that was great. I would have really liked after they ended Shippuden if they would have done a Sasuke show, where he's out on his own doing the whole protecting the village from the outside thing.
Yeah,
come on.
There is a light novel about that, and it's pretty good. I think they did adapt it into a filler arc, so you can just watch it if you don't feel like reading it. But I would have liked to see even more of it because Sasuke is super cool. And I also think that one of the most satisfying moments in fiction ever, again, is when Sasuke finally, Naruto's, talking people out of being, evil or just hate filled, finally works on Sasuke. Because you've been waiting for that moment where Sasuke snaps out of it for the whole show, right? And he finally listens to Naruto, and you get even more insight into the way he thinks and has been thinking the whole time. And it's just so good, dude. Sasuke is such a great character, and people hate him. They're incorrect. It's not even a matter of opinion. He's just a good character. And I didn't like him when I was a kid either, because he was the exact sort of person that I didn't like. This super talented, things always seem to go his way. Oh man, this kid's better than me at everything. How am I ever supposed to be as cool as this? I hated that. And then as I grew older, I was just oh no, man. The fact that I recognized that the fact that I viewed Sasuke that way was an issue, and it was just a sign that I was narrow-minded, because I was not that I didn't like him. I didn't think that was an issue. I thought the fact that I thought he had it better than Naruto just because he was good at stuff was bad because it was like, no, his whole family's dead. I shouldn't, and I think it gave me empathy for people. Like even if my first impressions of people were bad, I think Sasuke just being there and being written to be unlikable initially, and then be like the fact that you're it feels very intentional that on a surface level he's just a dick, and then slowly, gradually, the series focuses more on the way he sees things. It feels like a very intentional way to make you feel bad for not liking him at first, and I think it showed me to just think more critically about the way that I view other people and try to be as empathetic as possible. Because it's like I think I made my point. Like I said, I'm just rambling, but he's so good. There's a whole lot of stuff that you can look at Sasuke and just learn.
No, I completely agree. He is very compelling.
All right. I almost feel bad asking the silly questions at this point. After all that, wow.
It's all good.
Yeah. Let's say, you know what? I think I'm going to ask one more question, and we can take as much time as we want. If you summoned an animal as a jutsu, what would your summon be?
There's a lot of cool ones. I'm trying to think. I'm surprised this isn't something that I've already thought about. I actually do really like frogs. I've always thought that they're like super super cool, and they're adorable too, right? With the little ribbiting stuff. So I might actually be just a toad summoner like Jiraiya, like Naruto, like Minato.
I mean,
Maybe
the frogs and the
teach me
toads.
that sage mode.
The frogs and the toads. I mean, Naruto takes that straight out of actual ninja lore. I mean, if you look at the stories that were told among ninjas, back when ninjas were actually a thing. I mean, the toads and the frogs and the turtles, and there's a great big fable about the toads and the turtles.
Naruto actually takes a lot of inspiration from classical Japanese folklore, which is a lot of the techniques are named after Shinto gods and stuff like that. Jiraiya, Tsunade, and Orochimaru are all characters from a classic fable. But yeah, I think it's very cool. With just one of the powers, the Rinnegan, the stuff that the amount of references to Shinto mythology in just that ability is insane. There's so much. If you I guess if you studied it and then you watched or read all of Naruto, you'd be geeking out the whole time, right?
Right.
It's just cool little references for people who know their Japanese mythology and whatnot. And yeah, that's a cool example of it as well.
So yeah, I think if you're sticking with frog or toad, I think that's a good pick.
Yeah.
Am I sticking with the things that they have normally done in Naruto, or am I just
whatever you
want type of animal?
Yeah, whatever you want.
I was originally thinking a bear.
That'd be cool. That'd be scary.
That'd be sweet, right?
Imagine a big bear, the size of Naruto's big frog.
Oh yeah,
that'd be terrifying.
Oh yeah, and then there's even in the Japanese lore, there's the Onikuma. That would be badass to summon a bear and its name is Onikuma.
That would be pretty sick. Yeah, I agree.
Oh, yeah. Or that'd be my tailed beast, no tails.
There's actually Zero Tails in one of the movies, but it's it's super non-canon, right? Very very non-canon.
So my Zero Tails bear is just as canon then?
Yes, exactly.
Nice.
I think just out of pure of the animal, I'd either go with a red panda or a tanuki, mostly for the same reasons. I mean, they're pretty similar looking, honestly. The red panda, just because I really enjoy the red panda, and just I feel like it'd be one of those summons that you'd summon it and people would go, "Oh, I don't have to worry about that thing," and then it would do something. They'd be like, "Oh god," and then the tanuki just for the standard it's for the folklore reasons. I mean, like the tie-ins would be so cool.
I would be afraid of the jutsu that the Tanuki would teach you, though.
Yeah. It would definitely be some sort of expansion jutsu. You'd have to be careful.
I think one of the funniest references to Japanese folklore in the series is Gaara's gourd being a reference to the Tanuki.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's very funny. And Gaara still manages to look very scary and imposing.
Yeah, isn't his beast kind of like?
It is supposed to be, the Tanuki. Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's like the demon version of it.
Nice.
Which makes even more sense, I guess.
Yeah. I remember it having the mask, so I was like, that's kind of the Tanuki.
Yeah.
That's funny. Oh man, that Gaara. He's a card.
Yeah, he's something.
Before we wrap it up, is there anything that we did not get to that either of you would like to say, or any guild decrees you'd like to make?
My guild decree is Sasuke is great. That is a fact. I think everybody here agrees, but Sasuke is cool.
Well, just
no
for
disagreements allowed.
For all the doubters, Sasuke's great.
Yeah, he is in fact maybe the coolest. I think like the only other like pitch perfect example of like that character archetype is Zuko. That's really about it, right?
Oh yeah.
Like, I don't even like Vegeta is a shonen rival, but I don't think he's like the Sasuke kind, so I don't think he really counts. But like, you know, like the really like edgy, like assholey, like, you know, selfish, but goes through a character arc where eventually they just become all like stoic. Like I think Sasuke is like a perfect example of it. Zuko is a perfect example of it. A lot of the other ones are just not as good. Maybe there's some other like really good ones, but I'm struggling to think of any off the top of my head.
I mean, like honestly, it's a good point either way. I mean, like like a lot of those characters, like you said, like Vegeta remains an asshole. Like I mean, like he might do some cool things or things for the greater good every once in a while, but he remains an asshole. Like he does not.
Like so the most infuriating thing about Vegeta is he has such a good end to his character arc in the Buu saga. And like when he just admits that Goku's better than him, and like, you know, he's just like, whatever, you know, like one of the coolest lines he has is like, on my pride, I'll like buy you that minute. Like that is the best way to like condense, like, yeah, okay, I've given up trying to be better than you. I am now actually on your side and fighting for the greater good. Like that is the most effective way to condense like that idea into a line. And then Super just reverts him back to an asshole. And it's like, dude, come no.
That's Toriyama for you in a nutshell, though. I mean, like he's like, if I'm gonna continue this, I want to go back to my comforts, and that's Toriyama in a nutshell.
I think it's even like visually like communicated that he goes through a character regression, because like in Dragon Ball Z, he slowly loses pieces of the Saiyan armor, like as he adapts to life on Earth and starts to chill out. And so then in Super, he gets some of it back and goes through a character regression. So I guess you're like, you know, whatever, I guess that makes sense. But it's still frustrating because, you know, he was right there and they took it away from him. So unfortunately, now I do like Vegeta, but I think he peaks at like the early series, right? Like
I'll only say one other thing about Dragon Ball before we end up doing another 2 hours on Dragon Ball. I will give Vegeta one moment in Super where he teaches that kid how to turn Super Saiyan and the way he does it. Like it is a very Vegeta way to do it, but like you can tell he did it 100% out of care. So. Yeah.
I agree. I think that was good, but most of Vegeta in Super is just I hate Kakarot, and it's like, come on, man, you're better than this. You're better than this.
Baron, anything else about Naruto that you wanted to say, or any guild decrees you wanted to make?
I think Oh, sorry, my bad. I didn't.
No. You got something else hit me.
I was gonna say, I'm good with the Sasuke one. I just need people to accept that. Also,
they have.
Maybe actually. Give Sakura just a little bit more credit. She does. I get she. You know what? She does get sidelined a lot, but when she's doing stuff, she's doing stuff. She does punch Kaguya right in the back of the head and does win the fight for them. So
my guild decree, Sakura is a badass.
She is.
She is a badass.
There you go.
I'm not even just saying that for you, because she is a badass. I like her when she gets that whatever tattoo thing that she has.
The Byakugo,
she's a badass. She's way better than Tsunade.
Yeah, like she punches the ground and it's like a nuclear bomb going off, dude. Like even Naruto gets a little scared, and this is like full like golden cloak, everything Naruto, right? Like he's like almost like at his peak of power, and he sees Sakura throw a punch. He's like, oh, okay, she's kind of scary. So that's pretty impressive, pretty strong.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I mean, I guess big thanks out to Swagkage for coming out here and definitely teaching me a whole lot of stuff of a series that I actually love quite a bit. Thank you, Rick, for putting me into the world of Naruto on more than one occasion and making me realize that I'm much more the pervy sage than I thought I was. And I really think that this we covered so much, and really most of it was just Shippuden. We probably talk all about Naruto and maybe 5 minutes of Baruto,
Yeah, that sure is something they did.
That's a show that happened.
Yeah, it sure is real.
That's a thing that exists.
What if Chakra came from aliens? Dude, that's so cool.
Oh man,
that's so neat.
All right, Swagkage, if people like what you had to say today and they want to find you somewhere else on the internet, where can they find you?
Primarily on YouTube and on Twitter at Swagkage. That's my username on both. But more than that, because the channel's already doing fine. More than that, if you have to pick between checking out either of those and checking out what I'm about to say, please, I am writing a webcomic. It's coming along really slow. I've only been releasing like one chapter every 6 months. I'm on like only 2 are out right now. I started last year. My artist just takes a while because, he's busy doing his own stuff. And this is a passion project for both of us. And he's really, really good at it. But it is called High Art. It's on Webtoon. It's shonen inspired. There's not a lot you can get out of it yet, but I think the first 2 chapters are really good. It's going to get better. Please read it. More than anything else, I'd really like if this succeeds, because I've always wanted to be a writer. And that's something else that I could talk about for ages and ages and ages and ages. Of course, if you just like Naruto, check out my videos too. You'll probably get a kick out of them. But please, if you could, read the webcomic. I promise you won't be disappointed.
If someone were only to watch one of your videos on YouTube, which one would you direct them to?
Probably my Renegon video. I made that one forever ago. That's the one that like blew me up, and I'm still really happy with the way it turned out, just because of how comprehensive it is and how well I managed to convey the information. I made it before I was even making enough money to like move out. I was like fresh out of high school, but it's what blew me up, and it's a video that I'm still really proud of.
Well, thanks for tuning in to this episode of Casters Guild. If you liked it, share it with a friend. You can also find us on YouTube at youtube.com/castersguild and on Twitch at twitch.tv/guildtrain. If you have any questions for us or our guest, or have any ideas of what you'd like to talk about in this cast, please email us at castersguild@gmail.com, and we will see you around. Bye.
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 Bye. Bye. Bye.